Today's pro bike check, I've got a very fast bike. This is Aaron Gwin's YT Tues. The Tues is a full carbon fibre frame, fully standard bike this. Aaron Gwin is running the large frame, nothing custom about this. Really cool looking bike, 200mm travel. So let's start off at the cockpit. Aaron's running full Renthal cockpit, the Fatbar carbon bars, 790mm wide, pretty standard downhill width really, 30mm rise, and the Integra 50mm stem. It's a nice little touch on here that John the mechanic's done. It's actually put tiny little marks with permanent marker so we can get the exact roll of the bar. So if he's moving bars, transporting the bike, he'll get it set up exactly where he wants, and Aaron likes it. Aaron's running ODI Lock On grips and these TRP Prototype brakes. When Aaron announced he was changing teams this year and riding YT, we saw a few new brands that I've not seen before, and he's helping develop these TRP brakes and also Onza tyres. It's coming down to look at this TRP caliper. It's a 4-pot system. You can actually see these grooves on here. It's almost like an air-cooled engine. So that's just to try and dissipate some of that heat that's coming out from these 203mm discs. Also these really nice cool blue tie bolts. Aaron's running eThirteen LG1 wheels, 650B obviously like everyone else pretty much nowadays. What I noticed by this is this rim looks really wide. Again, something we're seeing quite a lot of. You can actually see that in the profile of tyre. It's a really big wide tyre. Super chunky hub on these eThirteen wheels. Just means, you know, shorter spokes, really stiff wheels. Suspension is supplied by Fox, and this is a Fox factory tuned 40 fork. Got this sticker on the front, says Holmes, that's Aaron's middle name. #1 plate on the front, that looks pretty nice, you got to earn that. Also something pretty cool touch on the back of the fork crown. It's filled in with gaffer tape, so no mud or anything can get in there and weigh the bike down at all. Float X2 shock, also rad, that's the Fox factory suspension, so you know that's been worked on by the guys in the truck. Air shock, we don't see Aaron run the coil at all on this bike. Drivetrain is supplied by eThirteen. We've got the LG1 crank as well as the LG1 Chainguide, a 32 tooth chainring, and that's paired with a 7-speed 921 cassette. Gears are Sram XO, again 7-speed obviously, so 7-speed shifter up top. Also some really nice little grip tape on the shifters, nice little touch. The seat post and seat are both SDG, so it's carbon I-beam posts, and the Fly 2.0 saddle. It's got this cutout on the back of it, and that just gives you clearance for the massive amount of travel on downhill bikes. That rear tyre will get up and can buzz the saddle. Obviously, that's going to give you that a little bit more clearance. So we've seen his bike, and now we've got the man himself. I want to take it back a few years, and I'll talk to you about the first time I was made aware of who Aaron Gwin is. You might not remember this, but I do. I was stood at a house party in Clay Porter's house in 2007. And Clay Porter makes mountain bike videos, said to me that this guy stood over in the corner is going to win a World Cup within a few years. And I didn't believe him. How did you go about coming into downhill and winning so fast?
I don't know, man. I mean, I think for me it didn't feel super fast. I mean, it took me, I think, 4 years or so to win my first World Cup once I started racing downhill. But we've been racing bicycles and motocross and stuff as a family since I was 4 years old, you know, with the goal of winning races someday. So I hadn't done downhill from an early age, but I've been racing since I was a little kid. So I think the transition was easier for me than most. And but man, there's a lot of years of hard work in there that a lot of people never saw.
There's definitely, we do see similarities, of course, between motocross and downhill. But there's only sort of one person that I can think of that's really done that, come from another sport and been really good, and that's probably Sean Palmer. Do you think there's any sort of similarities between yourself and Sean?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it just comes down to like a natural talent on the bike. Like I grew up racing BMX before I raced motocross, and I think that helped me as much or more than moto did on the downhill bike. And yeah, I don't know, I think Sean's kind of like me. I think he just enjoys sports, different, you know, like different sports and different things, and I've always been that way. I've always liked to just do a little bit of everything for fun, and so I think that skill set kind of helps us.
And you're on a new bike this year. Has it taken time to, especially when you're coming back to tracks, do you have a base setting, or you've got the bike set up as you like at the start of the season?
Yeah, I mean, this year being on YT now, this is, you know, first trip to all these tracks on the new bike and the new team and everything, so we got a good base setting at home, just testing. And this bike's been pretty easy to set up, and I'm just really comfortable on it kind of naturally. So yeah, we haven't been messing around with it a whole lot at the races. It's worked really well from the get-go, and I'm really stoked on that.
So I really like the look of this bike. It's pretty trick. I mean, the #1 plate is pretty special. You've got the Aaron Gwin sticker, blue tie bolts, really well thought out bike, and it's obviously a really fast bike. I've also noticed Aaron's running this Cane Creek headset with quite a few spaces there and a 30mm rise bar, so relatively high bars. If you want to check out some more videos whilst here, if you click just up there, that'll take you through to our full Pro Bike playlist. Click down the bottom screen there and that'll take you through to the tech playlist. Click on this logo here to subscribe to GMBN and give us a thumbs up if you think Aaron's bike is really fast.